Good evening. On behalf of our entire athletic department and DWU as a whole, we'd like to welcome you to the 2018 Hall of Fame and Senior Athlete Recognition Banquet. This event is always just a big highlight of our year, where we get to honor past and present athletes for all the things that they've done on and off the playing field. We really look forward to tonight. Before we really get into things, I want to give a special thanks to a handful of different people who made this event possible, and so many other things throughout the year possible as well. First of all, our athletic staff, Marlene Warnke, just runs the show for us. She organizes this whole thing and does all the RSVPs, so thank you, Marlene. Ian McClanahan, Kurt Hart are two others that we couldn't get this done without them. Our IT department, Eric and Wim, that are up there helping run the controls for us. Our advancement team, Teresa Creasy, our vice president, Kitty Allen, Jory, Ariana, who did our video program for tonight that you'll see. She did a great job on that. I want to thank her. Our marketing director, Jan Larson, who's here. Our physical plant and Sandy for setting this all up. Our Hall of Fame committee, who helps out with the selection of our Hall of Fame members. And a couple familiar faces and DW legends, Jerry Luckett and Carol Weiss, who help us through everything, and we're so grateful for those two as well. And then last but not least, we're very happy to introduce our new food partner on campus, Fresh Ideas. Chef Aaron and his team have been phenomenal to work with, so we're really looking forward to the food tonight. I think this is the first event that they're going to be doing for us as a partner, so we're really looking forward to the food. So at this time, I want to have Amy Novak, our president, come up and do the presidential greeting and also the prayer, and then we'll dismiss to eat.
Thanks, John. Let me just begin by saying welcome home to all of you who are alumni who are back and here tonight to be honored or to support a friend, a classmate, a colleague that you had while you were here. It's just special to see all of you, to recognize faces and places and to see where you're at in your lives now. People with children and people living as grandparents, and just it's a delight to see you. And we hope that Dakota Wesleyan is always home for you. Today I had a chance to celebrate our youngest son, Zachariah's 10th birthday. And he wanted to go out on a bike ride. And I thought, that's a great idea. So we went out and we did a little biking. We came back home and he goes, now we're going to play laser tag. And so I'm like, okay, when you have 8 children, you want to do what you did for the first one, for the 8th one. So you're like even more hypersensitive that you're as physically fit to do all the things you could do with child number 1. And I had to have a little surgery in March because I did some crazy things with our Day of Giving in November, and so I'm kind of being sensitive about what I actually do. And so we're playing laser tag, and I'm thinking, I'm going to be smart about this and hide behind the air conditioner unit and just act as the sniper so that I don't actually have to run too much. I used to run in cross country, so, at one juncture, you're sort of saying to yourself, can't I do what I once did? Not so much. So anyway, I'm acting as the sniper, and I'm taking out my son Elijah and my daughter Mariana, and they're not really seeing where I'm at, and I'm thinking this is pretty cool. And all of a sudden, from behind me comes one of my older children, and he dives over the top of me just as I'm lifting up. And so I'm without glasses tonight because we had a bit of a casualty. So while I can't really see you, I do want to welcome you here. And I want to say to all of you who are here, it is athletics that can often bind us to incredible experiences. And the friendships that we make in this act, the teamwork that we learn from it, the resiliency that we all share, it's just something incredibly special. And so even as parents who are athletically engaged with your children or grandparents who are out watching your kids, there's something about these activities that truly bind us as one and as community. So it's a special welcome to have you all here at Wesleyan tonight. Let's just open with a moment of prayer. Loving God, we come before you today with gratitude for the many lives that you have touched and the many opportunities you've given the people here tonight to come together and to celebrate accomplishment, to celebrate perseverance, to celebrate excellence. We're grateful for the teammates who've been able to join us as well. We're also grateful for our seniors who are here tonight. 4 years of competition and being able to celebrate the friendships and the community they formed on their respective teams. We're grateful for our coaches who commit to building people of character and integrity and of faith. We ask that the food before us nourish our minds, our body, our spirit, and our soul, so that we may continue to work hard, play hard, and enjoy one another as family and friends of Dakota Wesleyan. In your name we pray. Amen. So we're going to serve you here tonight through a buffet, and so there'll be people at each side of the Sherman Center here who will direct the tables to be released. You'll go out and then you'll come right back here through the center. And then midway through the dinner, we'll start our program. So thank you.
Okay, I know folks are just kind of finishing up with their meals. Let's give another round of applause to Fresh Ideas. Okay, the first thing on our list tonight is I want to have all of our staff members come up from our athletic department, come up here to the front of the stage, and we're going to do some introductions from our staff, and we'll pass the mic. So if you guys could just come up to the front here, all of our coaches and all of our athletic staff, please come on up. All right, Ian, you'll be starting. Name, title, and how long you've been here.
My name's Ian McClanahan. I'm the Sports Information Director here. I have been that title here for about 4 months, and I've been at Dakota Wesleyan for the past 6 years.
My name is Jane Stewart. I'm the grad assistant for women's basketball, and this was my first year here at Dakota Wesleyan.
I'm Jerry Luckett. I'm the faculty athletic rep. This is my 3rd year for that position, but I've been a professor here for 28 years.
Marlene Warnke, athletics business manager. I've been at DWU since December 5th of 1990 and in the athletic department since November 22nd of 05.
I'm Coach Lindsay Wilbur. I'm the volleyball coach, and this is my 4th year.
Matt Wilbur, men's basketball, and this is my 5th year as well.
Tracy Lecker, cheer coach, and I'm going into my 5th year.
Jared Guthmuller, head athletic trainer, been here 13 years, also curriculum chair of the Sport Exercise and Wellness Department, and Alumni 2000.
Jason Glasgow, assistant football coach, my 7th season here.
Derek Fussum, head track and cross country. This is my 4th season.
Tom Hook, head men's and women's golf, and this is my 1st season.
Zachary Lers, I'm the assistant track and field coach. This is my 1st season.
Clay Glasgow, women's soccer. This is my 4th year.
Carlos Mora, men's assistant, grad assistant, my bad, soccer, 1st year.
This is just an outstanding staff that we get to work with every day. I know a lot of folks in here get to interact with these coaches on a daily basis, but what a great crew to work with. They make my job extremely easy, but I can't say enough for how grateful we are for this group and all that they do for our university and our student athletes. So thank you, staff. You can be seated. All right, now we're going to get on to our senior athletes. I'd like each of you to come forth after your name is called. We have a gift for you. And once you get up here, I'd like you to remain on stage. Kurt Hart and Jerry Luckett are going to come up here and help give out these gifts. But please, after your name's called, come on up and stay up here for our senior athlete address. We'll start with athletic training. Tyson Allen, Amber Bray, Ashley Bray, Katie Donahue, Sierra Isley, Ben Gannon, Chesney Nagel, Tyra Patzloff, Shanna Selby, and Nicole Whitstrip. Baseball, these guys are on the road today. Colton Boudreau, Brody Koonsman, Brandon Orpeza, Steve Sagasti, Jonathan Cheney, and Nathan Smith. Men's basketball, Nigel Drury, Jason Spicer, Nate Statham, and Trey Vandenberg. Women's basketball, Amber Bray, Ashley Bray, Chesney Nagel, and Shanna Selby. Cheerleading, we have Willow Colbreeze, Caitlin Ellsworth. Cross country, track and field, Morgan Anba, Dakota Bowden, John Harmoning, Jeremiah Panic, Shaylin Schweigert, and Lane Tibbs. For football, we have Hayden Adams, Dakota Bowden, Brandon Boggs, Clark Butler, Austin Bizey, Zach Clement, Tyler Fortuna, Ben Gannon, Trey Hobbs, Lewis Hofer, Trevor Krugman, Charlie LaRoche, Trevor London, Damon McCleary, Dillinger Pearson, Cole Ratterman, Dustin Riedel, Ryan Roderick, Levi Roseboom, Dylan Turner, and Austin Van Poel. Men's golf, Riker Kreitzfeld and Russell Pick. Men's soccer, we have Derek Brenner, Liam Refrance, Andrew Loma, Jay Marks, and Shane Quinn. Women's soccer, we have Katrina Godfrey, Amanda Stoles. Softball, Paige Kinley. Volleyball, Maxine Block, Sarah Hoosier, and Anna Pazur. In wrestling, we have Alex Osborne, Zach Westergaard, and Nick Woslem. All right, now I'd like to introduce two seniors that have really represented this class in so many different ways, to share a few memories throughout their respective programs and some memories of this senior class and memories of Dakota Wesleyan, Chesney Nagel and Derek Brenner.
Good evening. It was an honor to be selected to speak to all of you tonight, and first off, I would just like to congratulate all of the Hall of Fame inductees that are with us tonight, and would you join me in a round of applause for all of them? Secondly, I would like to congratulate all of my fellow seniors here up on stage with me tonight. For me, it seems like just yesterday, and I'm sure some of my fellow basketball players can go along with this with me, but that I was a freshman and we were listening to Coach JC blowing his whistle what seemed like a million times and running a million different ladders and whatnot, hundreds of ladders, it felt like, in our first preseason here at Dakota Wesleyan. And maybe it wasn't quite 100 ladders, but it sure felt like it at the time, and that it would be never ending. But I suppose he kind of knows what he's doing since he was Coach of the Year and all, and I can say that because he's not here tonight, so. For my fellow seniors, I'm sure all of them have some sort of the same memory, where maybe they went through something tough, a tough first practice, a tough first workout, and they weren't quite sure, why am I here? Why am I going through this? Why am I putting myself through this misery at the time? But I'm here to say that all of us are here, we did it, we're living to tell the story, telling all of our friends and family about it. And not only did you, my fellow seniors, finish that tough first workout that you've ever had at Dakota Wesleyan, but you finished every single one from here on out for the last 4 years. You finished them for your coaches, for your family, for your teammates who became your family, and most importantly, you finished them for yourself. If I had a glass up here, I would toast to all of you guys, but I don't believe I'm allowed to do that. So once again, I would just like to congratulate everyone up here on stage tonight with me, and good luck to all my fellow classmates on graduation next weekend, and let's make the most of our last week here together. Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Derek Brenner, and I'm captain of the men's soccer team here at Wesleyan. So I got an email a few weeks ago from Ian asking me if I'd be willing to speak here tonight, and I was just finishing up student teaching and my PEP and my capstone day and all that all the long list of senior to-dos, and I was just like, man, feels like senior year never ends. But really, I'm honored to be asked to speak here tonight and kind of share a little bit of my story. I transferred here 3.5 years ago, and really that was one of the toughest decisions of my life, because at the time I felt like transferring was quitting a little bit. What made it even tougher was the fact that I had a full academic scholarship at my last school. Family and friends would always kind of ask, you know, how could you leave so much money on the table, and it seemed like such a sweet deal for you? And my answer was always kind of short and tight-lipped. It was always, you know, it just didn't feel like the right place. I felt like I didn't fit in, but basically it wasn't home. So I kind of ended up coming here on a whim, and you know, I knew the coaching staff a little bit. Jose is an excellent recruiter, and he's got a lot of things to say. So I ended up coming here, and really that was the best decision of my life. I knew I wanted to keep playing, and this was a place where I could keep doing that. Whenever you're visiting here as well, admissions always kind of emphasizes the tight-knit community that Wesleyan has. And I was never really someone who bought into that. But within the first week I was on campus, like, I could feel it, and I knew I was finally home. I'd finally found my place, I guess. And I just don't think you could find those tight-knit communities as much. And there's just so many people in your corner. And all of that really kind of culminated when my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer this last year. Obviously, that's a tough time for me and my family, but I knew I had the greatest support system around me with teammates, coaches, faculty, staff, obviously friends, and everything else that goes along with it. And really, that kind of led to the clothing fundraiser for my mom, and it was just such a special experience to be able to see people walking around with shirts and sweatshirts supporting my mom. And she was actually honored for our annual cancer awareness match, and that was my most memorable experience here. You know, they did an honor guard for her, and it was at halftime of our game, and you know, my mom's got tears running down her face, and I'm trying to hold back tears because, you know, I still got a second half to play, but just really one of those things that never leaves you. And really, I think it's because I was in such a special place like Wesleyan. So really, I'm just blessed to be a part of this senior class, be a part of this campus community, and I'm super thankful for, you know, the relationships I've made with teammates, friends, this senior class, obviously, and I'm just grateful for the leadership of John and Kurt Hart and Dr. Novak. You know, they're just great role models, and just super blessed to be a part of this campus and the larger Tiger family. Thanks.
Obviously, two just great representatives of this senior class. It's always difficult to kind of pick two because we got every one of these kids that come up here and do that same thing that those guys just did. So thanks so much for all your time, seniors, commitment, and efforts to this university. You have made a huge impact and have set the bar high for our underclassmen. We wish you nothing but the best in your future endeavors. And remember to always bleed blue. And don't forget about us. Don't forget about us. But thank you, seniors, and congratulations. We're going to miss you. We're going to miss you. Congrats, everybody. You guys can be seated. Now we'd like to transition into our individual awards. First off, I would like to invite another household name to DWU in the Mitchell community, and that's Coach Bob Sprang, to come forth and present the KMIT Award.
Good evening. It's an honor for me tonight to speak on behalf of Tim Smith and KMIT. Tim sends his regards. along with his condolences that he is unable to be here this evening. He's suffering, I know, because he's in the Dominican Republic on vacation. So he is, but again, disappointed that he could not be here. I believe he has texted a couple of you, I know for a fact, about sending his congratulatory messages and things like that. But this is the KMI Student Athlete Award for 2018. The KMIT Athlete Award was first presented in 1985, making this the 33rd year that we are honored to recognize a senior student athlete here at Dakota Wesleyan. The award is given to a senior athlete, male or female, who has excelled in his or her athletic career, and, in addition, also has exhibited excellent leadership, excellence in the classroom, and involvement in school and community service throughout her and his 4 years at Dakota Wesleyan. With these three criteria, athletics, academics, and student life, we believe this award represents the true meaning of what we call a student athlete. Our winner this year has achieved excellence in all of those categories. In the classroom, she was a nominee for both the Dewar and Liston Scholarship Awards, a 2-year Daktronics NAIA Scholar Athlete, an Arthur Ashe Sports Scholar Award winner, and an academic All-American, and a member of the Phi Kappa Phi Honor Society. Her involvement in the community and Wesleyan school events are too numerous to mention, but just to name a few. She was a volunteer coach and referee for the Middle Special Olympic basketball team and volunteered at the South Dakota Special Olympic basketball tournament. She was a volunteer at the First Lutheran Preschool, a Dakota Wesleyan Athletic Training Club president, South Dakota State Representative and Council member for the Mid-America Athletic Training Association. She coached the basketball team at Longfellow Elementary School and was a nominee for the Miss Wesleyan Award, and served on a 2-week medical mission trip to South Africa. Her accomplishments on the basketball team. For the basketball team, the national champion women's team were often overlooked, and they did not come without paying a price, having to sit out a year and recover from an ACL injury. She did not make headlines because she didn't shoot very often, but that was by design. She consistently guarded the opponent's best player, and as an unselfish team captain, did not care how many points she scored. But we found out that she really can shoot when she hit several 3-point shots at the National Basketball Tournament. But she was one of the major reasons that Dakota Wesleyan brought home the championship, holding their opponents 20 points below their season scoring averages. On behalf of Tim Smith and KMIT, it is my pleasure to present an engraved blue for Dakota Wesleyan quartz watch to this year's winner as a keepsake of her many accomplishments in athletics, in leadership, scholarship, and community service. The 2018 KMIT Dakota Wesleyan Student Athlete Award goes to Chesney Nagel.
Now I would like to invite our football recruiting coordinator and special teams coordinator, Mr. Jason Glasgow, to present the Cheever Award on behalf of the football program.
All right. First, I just want to thank everybody for the opportunity just to be up here, and really the individual that I'm going to give this award to, I'd just like to thank him for everything he's done for the football program. The Cheever Award is an award that commemorates Gene and Joanne Cheever and is given to the top scholar athlete on the football team that is a senior. It's selected by the coaching staff, and the award is based on football ability, academic ability, leadership, character, and involvement in campus life. One thing I just kind of want to start out with is the guy who won this award is a very special individual. As a coach, and a lot of us in here can attest to this, you go out and you have a recruiting class, and you hope that the guys that you recruit, or the individuals that you recruit, are able to reach their potential, whether that's being involved with the community, the academic side of things, all those types of things. By the time that they walk across the stage and receive their diploma from DWU, and you don't see that from all your kids, and that's one of the hardest things about coaching, is getting your kids to reach their potential. And with the individual that's going to receive this award, there is without a doubt a question in my mind that he's far surpassed all those things that we thought that he could do while he was here. Since he came to campus, he's been a prime example of what DWU football and being a student athlete is all about. He's never been a guy who's been in the spotlight. He's never been a guy who you're going to read in the newspaper about, but he's always been the best teammate that you could possibly be. He's always been a guy that you can count on in every situation, whether it's on or off the football field, in the classroom. He's just been a guy that every single person who he's touched on our football program or even on campus, he's made the biggest impact that you could make as an individual on each and every person that he's been able to build a relationship with. And that's something that's been really exciting to see in his 4 years here. He's been a guy who's battled through injuries. Everybody's looked up to him because he's a guy who's, there was one point where he had probably ice on every single joint, nook, and cranny you could probably have, but he's still competing every single week. And that's a big thing. But one thing I'm going to say here, I'm just going to list some stats for you, okay? You guys probably all know who Dylan Turner is, okay? One of this guy's best friends. In 4 years, Dylan Turner threw for over 10,000 yards and had 115 TD passes. The recipient of this award had 179 yards receiving in his career and had 4 touchdowns. So he's not a guy that you're going to see in the newspaper on a consistent basis. And again, let that sink in, all right? 4-year starter for us, 179 yards and 4 TDs. But his impact is far larger than that. Some more stats for you here. He's made the Dean list every single year that he's been here at DWU. He was a 4-time DWU football academic All-American, having above a 3.75 GPA every single year that he's been here. He was an NEI Scholar Athlete, a COSIDA All-District team member, a member of the Phi Kappa Phi Honor Society, a Homer Carhart winner for the best male chemist at DWU. He was a member of the Chaos Club. He helped tutor with the TRIO program, was involved in various research presentations, with the most recent being when he was named the 2017 Brin Undergraduate Fellowship winner. And you guys, that's just some of the things that he's done on campus, and he's impacted so many people. But you can't tell me that an individual that's involved in that many things hasn't made an impact on DWU, this football team, or this community. And really, it's an honor for me to give this award to this individual, and I'd just like to welcome and congratulate and give this award to our 2018 Scotchman, Tyler Fortuna.
All right, next I would like to invite Kurt Hart and Jerry Luckett to come forth and present the Matthew D. Smith Award.
The Matthew D. Smith Scholar Athlete Award. Dr. Smith was Dean of DWU from 1936 to 1944 and President from 1952 to 1958. This award is presented in recognition of Dr. Smith's support of excellence in academics and athletics. This award is presented to a scholar athlete based on academic achievement, athletic participation, and leadership on and off the field. Here to present this award is our faculty athletic rep, Jerry Luckett.
It's my pleasure to present this award. It's an honor to present this award each year. And you've already heard an awful lot about this individual because they have touched so very many lives on the campus and in the community. And I know as this individual goes out, they are going to touch an awful lot of lives in the world. So it is my pleasure to introduce your Matthew D. Smith Award winner, Chesney Nagel.
At this time, we'd like to recognize our DWU Scholar Athletes and our NAI Scholar Athletes, and that's under the Daktronics list as NAI Daktronics Scholar Athletes. To receive this honor, they have to be a sophomore and above and maintain a 3.50 GPA or higher. And please refer to your program to see what a remarkable, outstanding group this is and how many of our students and what percentage of our students are scholar athletes. It's amazing. This is incredible to do this. At this time, I would just like to have all the NAI Daktronics Scholar Athletes and all the DWU Scholar Athletes stand. And remember, we only have just a part of them here tonight. Please stand. All of you know who you are. With so many coaches and athletes out of town today competing, so many of them aren't here, but we really appreciate those people. And it's remarkable how many of those students are scholar athletes. We also want to recognize our NAI All-Americans. And if you would stand as I call your name here. In football, Hayden Adams. Is Hayden here? In men's basketball, Ty Hoagland. In men's basketball, Jason Spicer. In women's basketball, Amber Bray. And in women's basketball, Ashley Bray. A round of applause for them, please.
Congratulations to all of our individual award winners and our All-Americans and Scholar Athletes. What a great group. What a great group. We've honored the present. And now it's time to honor the past, and we are beyond excited about this group. It's my pleasure to introduce the 2018 DWU Athletic Hall of Fame class. Gerald Neumann, 1968. Chris Determan, 1996. Danielle Bellett Evenson, 2012. And Brady Wiebe, 2011. Our first inductee is Gerald Neumann, a 1968 Dakota Wesleyan graduate. He was a four-year starter on both the offensive and defensive lines for the DW football team, a multi-position player who started at guard, tackle, defensive tackle, nose guard, and defensive end at some point during his time at Dakota Wesleyan. He was also a key component on special teams all 4 years, and even though there wasn't much recognition for offensive and defensive linemen at that time, Jerry is known as one of the most memorable athletes during the late 60s and one of the best two-way football players in DW history. Outside of football, Nuemann participated in tennis and was a member of the Sigma Delta English Fraternity, as well as a sports editor for the yearbook during his final years on campus. Please direct your attention to the projector screens for a short video on Jerry's time at DWU. Please help me welcome to the stage Jerry Neumann and his presenter, legendary coach Gordy Fossness.
I'm kind of a stand-in tonight for Gordy Zapp. This will be brief, but this guy deserves this, and some of you have heard before, but you need to hear it again from the coach himself. For many people, 1963 was a big year. That was the year that my family and I and all the new recruits were introduced to Dakota Wesleyan. I was hired in April of 1963 by Dakota Wesleyan. At the time, I was teaching and coaching in Wayne, Nebraska, and committed to finishing the school year there. Meanwhile, at Dakota Wesleyan, without an active coach, the number of football players was lacking. By this time, it was late in the recruiting year, but there were also some good players who had been overlooked. I started calling coaching friends to gather names of prospects, and after track practice, I would visit the towns within 100 miles of Wayne, Nebraska. Gerald Neumann of Denison, Iowa, was the first to commit to becoming the member of the class of 1963. Due to the lack of players returning to Dakota Wesleyan while recruiting, we hit hard on the fact that there were going to be opportunities for football players in their freshman year. Jerry was a versatile player, offense, defense, special teams. He always knew his assignments and modeled great enthusiasm for his teammates to follow. During his 4 years at Dakota Wesleyan, he played guard, tackle, end on offense, and linebacker, and end on defense. I need to tell you here that we had two coaches at Dakota Wesleyan at that time. I was one of them. I was the defensive coordinator, and you didn't coordinate anybody but the players because you never had any other coaches. But during this time, Jerry was rarely got off the field, playing offensively, defensively, and on special teams on every play. Looking over sports articles from the Daily Republic newspaper, written at that time, Jerry was often praised for his performance. He was a coach's dream in that he would play well at any position where he was needed. After the first year, we began to build more depth on our football team. Jerry was then able to concentrate on his offensive play more fully. However, he still had to prepare for defense and special teams. During this time, many of the athletes participated in more than one sport. Jerry is also a member of the tennis team, as you saw tonight. Jerry had a very good rapport with the recruits we brought on campus, giving tours and answering questions that they might have. Because he had been such a versatile and valuable and integral part of our football program, we were thinking of keeping Jerry as an assistant coach. Instead of that, he was able to get a graduate assistant position at Central Missouri State and also help coach there. Jerry Neumann is most deserving of this award. And I'm a guy here, and his friend Jack sitting here, that can attest to the fact of his ability. He is deserving, and it's a great pleasure for me, to be honest. We don't give rings, but we give pins, you know, and so we haven't gotten into the ring state yet. That's supposed to be funny.
Kurt Hart talked to me about a week ago, I guess. He told me I had to talk for 5 minutes. And I haven't talked to anybody for 5 minutes in years unless I was lying about my golf game. But I do have some people I'd like to thank. Thanks to John Hart and the athletic department and the Hall of Fame committee for honoring me in this way. I appreciate it. Thanks to Gordon Zapp, who was a great coach. And I miss him. But he couldn't be here tonight. He recruited me when nobody else would, I think. I didn't wait until somebody else checked. When Coach Zapp said, "Will you come?" I said yes. And it was a great experience for 4 years with Coach Zapp as head coach. And with Coach Faustus as assistant coach, he gave me a nickname that has stuck with me through life. He doesn't like to call you by your full name if it's 2 syllables, so I become Noom. For years, that's what people knew me as. They didn't know I was Jerry or Newman, it was Noom. I also would like to acknowledge all the players I played with for those 4 years. We were a family, and we were able to get some success that Dakota Wesleyan hadn't seen for a while. I think the class that I came in with had a winning record after 4 years. And that was the first time in 30-some years that had happened at Dakota Wesleyan. And we were very proud of that. One other person I want to thank, acknowledge, my wife Judy, who has been my partner in life for 53 years. Thank you.
Congratulations, Jerry, and thanks, Gordy. Next on our list is Chris Determan, a 1996 Dakota Wesleyan graduate. Chris was a leader of the historic 1992 football team that went 10-1 and went on to the NAI National Playoffs, the last football team at DWU to do so. He led the 92 team to an undefeated regular season and a perfect 5-0 conference record to be named SDIC champs. Chris was a 4-time letter winner, a 3-time conference champion, a 3-time all-conference member, and conference MVP. During his career, Determan guided the DWU football team to a 4-year record of 28-13. He currently ranks 9th all-time in career rushing, 8th in career passing, and 4th in career total offense. Legendary DWU football coach Joe Kramer couldn't be here tonight, but he wanted me to share these words on his behalf. Chris, sorry I couldn't attend your Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I always enjoyed seeing former players of mine being honored for their achievements. You were an outstanding player. You had all the physical and mental attributes needed to be successful, but what really set you apart was your toughness. I always thought if you hadn't been a quarterback, you would have been an outstanding linebacker or fullback. You certainly didn't shy away from any physical contact, and you definitely set the tone for our football team. If you returned to the huddle with a bloody nose, everyone knew somehow, some way, our opponent was going to pay for it. Those tough physical plays always brought out the best in you. I will never forget your play against Dakota State during our undefeated season. Late in the game, we were behind, and you got leveled by a pass rusher. I didn't know if you'd get back in the huddle, much less finish the game. On the next play, we ran a naked bootleg, and you broke a couple of tackles, followed your blockers exceptionally well, and ran 65 yards for the winning touchdown. Wow, what a great player. Chris, I am sure the qualities you showed on the football field have made you successful in life. Congratulations on your playing career, teaching career, coaching career, and induction into the Dakota Wesleyan University Athletic Hall of Fame. A well-deserved honor. Please direct your attention to the projection screens for a short video on Chris. Please help me welcome to the stage Chris Determan and his presenter, Larry Buffington.
Chris Determan was a great football player because Chris Determan was an amazing leader. And I think Chris was an amazing leader because he was cool as a cucumber. Whether it's dropping back on that waggle or running that naked bootleg that Coach Kramer talked about down the sideline. I truly believe that his cool as a cucumber attitude on the field and in the huddle comes from his depth of character. And I know that his depth of character comes from his faith and his family. So it's a pleasure to introduce Tiger Hall of Fame member Chris Determan.
You guys are all short, I think. Number one, I want to thank Buff for being able to be here. I know I talked to Coach Kramer. He's actually where I should have been. We live in Arizona, and he's actually in Arizona with his family, with his grandkids right now, having a birthday. So I do miss him, but this is amazing. I think is it Chesney? Where's she at? Is that right? And then Derek, right? I had to do the same thing you did about 25 years ago. It was awesome. They call you and it's like, hey, hurry up. All right, yeah. So anyway, I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for actually considering me to be up for this award. You'd never guessed it. I was 6'5", 175 pounds. I played 9-man football, and I got a chance to move on to Dakota Wesleyan and play ball. Buff asked me when I came in, who recruited you? And I said, I don't know if I really got recruited. I played with a pretty good guy that I think was probably getting recruited, and I had a good game, and I got a shot. And that was the way it worked out for me. Every chance I had a shot, I took it. I didn't start as a freshman, not right away. We were 0-3, and I got to go in against Midland Lutheran down in Nebraska. We ran a bootleg, and Kramer talked about bootlegs. The first play I got tackled, the guy turned my face mask sideways. That's not supposed to do that. But that was kind of how it all started. From that point on, I didn't relinquish that to the guy that was in front of me. I'll try to stay on task here because I used to be a teacher, so I'd like to float around a lot. I usually walk, so it's really hard to stand behind the podium, just so you guys are all aware of that. Let's see, where was I at? Oh, the reason why Buff probably didn't come out was because we probably only threw the ball 3 to 5 times in Berg, South Dakota. We just didn't do it because we ran the ball a lot. I want to thank Coach Kramer, Coach Buff, Coach Culver, Coach Parks, Coach Sprang. I actually played for that guy as well. My high school coaches, DeWolf, Bartling, Broom, Clout, Sneeden, for being behind me. My family, my mom and dad, who tough love was a given. You weren't given anything. And I think that's who made me who I am. Thank my wife and my kids for being here, my family, my brothers and sisters for coming out and being a part of it. It's a great honor to be in the ranks of the Hall of Fame with guys I got to play with that are in the Hall of Fame already. Guys like Ron Bartles, Jason Bailey, who I actually played against in high school and I got to play with him in college. Todd Sprang, just to name a few. Champions, and then the other guys I got to play with along the way who were also champions, who aren't in here yet, but they helped me to get to this point. From somebody who was probably average, they made me do the best I could do 24/7. I actually didn't know until John asked me, "What are your stats?" I have no idea. I don't know what I was at. I couldn't tell you. I didn't know at the time that I actually held the total yardage for like 10 to 15 years. I didn't know that because the team I played on didn't work that way. It was about playing for each other and going out and playing the hardest you can and see if you can win. And we did that. And we had fun doing it. They wanted me to ask, what did I learn at Dakota Wesleyan? I learned patience. I knew when I came in, I was recruited with 7 other quarterbacks at the same time. I don't think my folks know this, but Kramer called me in about 2 weeks in and said, "Hey, we're thinking about moving somebody over defensive back. What do you think about that?" Whatever you want. But I'd also called and talked to him and said, I think I can make this work. Be patient in what you're going to do. Be patient because when you get your shot, you need to make it worthwhile. Faith. Faith in God, faith in yourself, faith in your teammates. Understand that when things look bleak, you may actually pull out with a win or you're going to come out on top. I was talking with Buff and I talked to Randy before about a bunch of different games that we went through, and probably my most memorable, it was different than Randy's. Randy's was UNI game, we were down to minute 20 and came back and won it. Mine was Huron. We were down 21-0 going into the fourth quarter. We couldn't do anything right. I think we had 6 fumbles. I think I threw 2 interceptions before that time. And we came back and won on a 25, which is wing T, 25 off tackle. Jay Schmidt broke it for 20 yards and won it with about 10 seconds left. So don't give up what you're doing. Handle adversity. Even after I started as a freshman, I got pulled for the homecoming game. And I knew it was going to happen. The crazy part about the whole Carmel with that whole game, we went into overtime. We ran a Delaware, which is a run-pass option for that worm crap freshman, and we made it work and won in overtime. Don't ever quit. We were 4-5 my senior year. We went to play USF, who was going to the national playoffs, and we should have got beat by a lot, probably 30 points. We won by, I think it was a touchdown. We had one motto when I was going through that started our sophomore year, and to me, it's guided me every day of my life. It was basically pertains to don't be lazy and don't back down. It had 4 words, and it was a chant that we used. Kramer used it in one of our pregame speeches. It's no pigs, no chickens. I want to thank everybody for coming out and supporting all of us, for supporting the seniors of DWU, and keep everything going. Thank you very much. Thanks, John.
Congratulations, Chris, and thanks, Larry. Next on our list is Danielle Bellett Evenson. A 2012 Dakota Wesleyan graduate, left a lasting mark on DWU record books during her 4-year career. Amongst her long list of accomplishments, she was named GPAC Player of the Year every year she was at Dakota Wesleyan. Bellett was honored as a NAI All-American 3 times and a national runner-up in 2011 in the national tournament. Throughout her collegiate career, she won 33 individual tournaments and was named GPAC Golfer of the Week 21 different times, and NAI National Golfer of the Week once in 2012. Bellett was named to the all GPAC teams during each of her 4 years. Apparently, when you're Player of the Year all 4 years, you get named to that list. Off the course, Danielle was involved in numerous clubs and activities and was an all-state scholar athlete during her final 2 years at Dakota Wesleyan. Danielle remains one of the most decorated athletes at DWU, within our league, the Great Plains Athletic Conference, and the NAI. Please direct your attention to the screens for a short video on Danielle. Please help me welcome to the stage Danielle Bellett Evenson and her presenter, Coach Adam Anderson.
Good evening, everybody. It's an honor to be a part of a ceremony like this when so many worthy individuals are being recognized for their outstanding achievements. Congratulations to all of you. Preparing a speech can be a difficult thing to do, but when Danielle called me and asked if I would do this tonight, I said, well, heck yes, that'll be one of the easiest speeches I'll ever have to do. I mean, how easy is it to talk about a really good person? As her coach, I got to know Danielle, the golfer, very well. But it was apparent she was so much more than just a golfer, more than that to everyone who encountered her on a daily basis. As John already highlighted, she was a caring and responsible RA in the dorms. She was a lively volunteer for several student organizations, including the biology club. She was a helpful summer intern with the science department. She was a knowledgeable campus tour guide for the admissions staff, and so much more. The list goes on and on and on. Danielle's likability and personal attributes carried over to the golf course. She would always ask you first how you were doing and how your day was going, instead of how she was doing. That's an attribute that's tough to find. Even if she was having a bad round, which didn't happen very often, she'd be genuinely interested in how her teammates were doing. And if she could spot them on the course, she would try to encourage them as well. If she was having a tough day at practice or trying to learn a new skill that we were working on, or getting frustrated just in general, she wouldn't let it drag her down. Instead, she would still be there trying to encourage her teammates. As you might guess by all of the attributes she has, Danielle, as a player, she was probably the easiest person I've ever had to coach. I didn't need to worry about whether or not she'd be on time, or if she'd put in a hard day's work. That was a given. She wouldn't just be on time, she'd be early. And she wouldn't just go through the motions. She'd practice and honestly try to get better and better, even if she had just won the previous tournament, which happened a lot. She wouldn't simply be there just worrying about her stuff. As I mentioned, she'd be there trying to help her teammates get better as well. And she'd actively encourage them to have contests, which she usually won. She was steady, dependable, and I probably took her for granted in the time that she was here, because I simply didn't need to worry about what I would get out of her every single day. During her entire collegiate career, she was consistent, talented, impressive leader, and in our opponent's eyes, very intimidating. In closing tonight, I would like to say that when we judge an athlete's ability in our society, we tend to look at numbers and statistics. Well, Danielle's stats speak for themselves. Those alone warrant this award here tonight. But putting all athletics aside, if there was a Hall of Fame for good, honest, genuine people, Danielle would be in there too. After getting to know her parents, Cindy and Les, and also having been the coach for her husband, Tyler, who was also a graduate assistant for me, it's easy to see why Danielle is the way that she is. She's got a great family and a tremendous support system, and is definitely someone that current athletes on campus should aspire to. Now, I know you're not here to listen to me ramble on, so without further ado, it's my pleasure to present Mrs. Danielle Bellett Evenson.
Thank you, John and Coach, for those introductions, and the Hall of Fame committee for inducting me this evening. It is truly an honor to be here tonight and be recognized as one of the great athletes of Dakota Wesleyan University. I would like to acknowledge some of those that helped me along the way. Coach Anderson for recruiting me and always treating our team like we were a Division I program and pushing us to be our best. He taught us that there is always something we can work on, even when we were cooped up indoors all winter long. He always made sure my teammates and I were having fun whenever he saw us in a tournament. My two assistant coaches, Jenny Coluccio and Jess Williams, taught me a lot of golf and life lessons. My teammates throughout the years were also fundamental to my success. We spent a lot of time together on the road, and I can have a lot of great memories of eating at a lot of restaurants, sitting around the hot tub after a tournament at a hotel, making fun t-shirts. To my parents, I owe the most gratitude for seeing my potential in golf and doing everything they could to help me improve. My mom always wanted my siblings and I to be as active as possible. My parents drove me to summer tournaments, helped me to get lessons, and rarely missed a tournament. Even throughout college, they never missed a nationals tournament and made it to countless other events. Thanks, Mom and Dad. My many supporters at tournaments always helped me calm my nerves with their waves and thumbs up as they walked to the next tee. My grandparents, siblings, in-laws, and my pastor even braved the sometimes unpredictable weather at a lot of my tournaments. My start to golf came with my dad started taking me to the golf course at sunrise, not to golf with him, but to pull his golf bag around. Eventually, I got my own set of clubs, and I was able to start learning to play the game. My dad was my first coach, and he was never concerned about scores or distance, but with me having a solid understanding of the fundamentals. Even though I rarely showed my gratitude to him when I was younger, I eventually realized that I owed a huge part of my success to those fundamentals lessons. I started playing competitively in the 8th grade, and from then on, I was focused on improving my game. It never felt like work, though, because it was always a fun family and friend pastime. I can remember many rounds spent with my mom and grandma on the course at Ladies' Days, my brother and I playing round after round all summer long, and my boyfriend at the time, now husband Tyler, and I spending most of our dates playing golf at Lead Country Club. I'm not going to lie, always trying to best my boyfriend at golf was a huge motivator, and he'll never admit it, but I do from time to time best him. All through high school, my parents and my goal was for me to play college golf and make it to the national level. My career at DWU allowed me to do that and more. It seemed like pure luck that I won the conference tournament my freshman year, but that was just the beginning. In those beginning tournaments, I was so nervous at the start of every tournament that I don't know how I was able to hang on to the golf club. Thinking back, I can still feel the nerves to this day, but I wouldn't have traded it for anything else in the world. The adrenaline and desire to win always kept me to work hard and play better. My team and I made it to nationals all 4 years of my career, and I always looked forward to competing with the best golfers in the NAIA. I have so many highlights of my career that I will never forget, including being runner-up at the national championship my 3rd year. Sharing that tournament with my team, coaches, and parents is one of the experiences I will always treasure. I am so grateful that the game I love the most was able to give me so many great memories. I know my golf career wouldn't have been the same without all of the help and influence that I had along the way, and for that I am truly thankful. Once again, I am honored to have been chosen as one of this year's inductees, and congratulations to the other athletes and inductees here tonight.
Congratulations, Danielle, and thank you, Adam. Now to our final inductee, Brady Wiebe. A 2011 Dakota Wesleyan graduate, Wiebe broke numerous records during his career with the DWU men's basketball team. He ranks 5th in DWU men's basketball history in all-time scoring with 2,052 career points. He recorded nearly 1,100 career rebounds while tallying 767 made free throws in his career, which is a South Dakota collegiate record. He got fouled a lot. More than Michael Jordan, I think. Wiebe was a 3-time All-GPAC first team selection and a 3-time NAI All-American. He was named GPAC Player of the Year during his senior season. Brady helped guide the Tigers to one of the most successful 4-year runs in DW history, which included 4 straight seasons of winning 24 games or more, 4 national tournament berths, and a record of 101-33. Outside of basketball, Brady was active on campus, participating in a variety of clubs and organizations throughout his 4 years, while being a DW and NAI scholar athlete. Please direct your attention to the screens. Please help me welcome our newest Hall of Famer and good friend, Brady Wiebe, and Coach John Hemingway to the stage.
Thank you, John. It's great to be back here in South Dakota, campus at Dakota Wesleyan. It's wonderful to see all these familiar faces. My wife and I, Jessica, we talk about our time here in Mitchell and all the great friends that we made here and reflect on it quite a bit. So it brings back a lot of great memories, to say the least. Brady called me a couple months ago and asked if I would induct him into the Hall of Fame, and of course I said yes, without hesitation. I told him I'd be here no matter what. As a coach, you always try to have good relationships with all of your players, but there are always a few that you have great relationships with, and Brady is certainly one of those. During the 3 years that I coached Brady, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I may have accused him once or twice of maybe being kind of soft, and I may have told him, and I don't remember this, but I may have told him that he couldn't jump over a beer can. A few weeks ago, I texted Brady and Preston as I was kind of making my final plans to come, and I knew Preston was going to be here, so I kind of did a little group text with those two, and I said, is everything all set for tonight? And Preston quickly texted back and said, well, it's not official yet. Brady still has to prove that he can jump over a beer can in order to be admitted into the Hall of Fame. So you must have done that and proved me wrong, which is great. I saw Brady play for the first time at the Hanson Classic in the winter of 2007. Sitting in the Corn Palace, the game started out, and to be honest with you, as a high school senior, I'm sitting there watching, and Brady was just okay. He didn't really stand out. He was slow. He was unathletic. He couldn't jump at all. I mean, like, at all. He couldn't jump at all, right? But as the game wore on, he started to grab the rebounds left and right, and he kind of had this uncanny ability to see where the ball was, knowing where the ball was going to come off the rim. And then he started posting up inside, and his teammates were getting him the ball, and he started scoring, basket after basket with this beautiful soft touch inside. So he just kind of grew on me, and the more I watched him, the more I liked him. But it was hard for me because I'm watching him, and I'm thinking, man, this kid just cannot jump, right? So a couple weeks later, he came to the Corn Palace, and we were playing the University of Sioux Falls, and they came in #1 in the country, and I think I've coached close to 400 games in college now, and if I had to pick one game that I wanted to win more than any other in almost 400 games as a head coach, it was that game against USF. And we played well, and Brady was in the stands, and after the game I'm talking to him, and after the game I was just so excited, and I just couldn't believe that we won that game. But I didn't realize that that game was also going to help us land Brady in Mitchell and at Dakota Wesleyan. So there was a little irony in that one. A couple weeks later after that, his dad, Marlon, and him came over to campus for a campus visit. And Brady, the visit was going really well. He seemed to like it. I was wrestling with myself, man, am I going to offer this kid a scholarship or not? And it just kept coming back to me, man, this kid cannot jump. I don't know how he's going to be able to fit in with what we're doing. So we're sitting there in the Wellness Center, just the three of us in my office, and finally I just decided, I gave him my recruiting pitch, and I just said, just offer this kid a scholarship. So as I offered him a scholarship, and I threw it out there, and I'm thinking to myself, man, I cannot believe I just offered this kid a scholarship, and I knew things were going well, and I knew Brady liked us, and he's across the table, and it got kind of awkward for a few seconds. It was quiet. And I know Marlon was sitting there thinking, Brady, just take it. Just take this scholarship. Just accept it right now. So about 10 seconds later, after this silence, Brady says, well, Coach, thanks, and I'm going to go home back to Madison, and I'm going to think about it, and I'll call you back next week. And I didn't know if, I was hoping he was going to kind of jump up and hug me, but I was a little disappointed that he kind of didn't turn it down, but he was kind of waiting on it. So when they left, I just knew, I just wish I could have been in that car ride home with you and your dad, because the very next day, Brady called me back, and he committed to Dakota Wesleyan. So I think your dad might have had something to do with that. Fast forward about 3 years, and at this point, it's Brady's junior year, and we didn't lose a game in the month of January or February. We went 2 months in a row without losing a game. And at this point, Brady was pretty much unstoppable in the GPAC. He's given everybody 20 points and 10 rebounds on a nightly basis. And nobody had an answer for him. And I'm talking to one of the opposing coaches, and I don't remember who it was, but I'm talking to the opposing coach before the game. And the teams are warming up, and we're talking, and he's just ranting and raving about Brady, because Brady is on this tear and playing really well. And he says, man, I can't believe how good Brady has turned out. And we saw him play in high school, and he says, man, what made you recruit Brady? He just couldn't believe it. And I kind of looked at him, I said, man, I knew he was going to be a great player all along. So as I stand here tonight, I honestly can't tell you how many points Brady scored in his career. I'm not sure how many rebounds he had. I can look in the program. I know it's a lot. I'm not sure what his career high was, but I do know a few things about him. He's one of the most unselfish kids that I've ever had. He is, without question, one of the most talented basketball players I've ever coached. There are so many times in the 3 years that I coached him during a game at the Corn Palace, or we're on the road at a hostile environment, Northwestern or Sioux Falls or wherever, and I'm just telling myself, man, just get the ball inside to Brady Wiebe. Everything's going to be all right if you can just get the ball inside to Brady. He played with passion. He wanted to win. He represented me and Dakota Wesleyan in the highest degree. And the one time in the 3 years that I actually yelled at him, he simply just nodded and took it and tried a little harder. And I really appreciated that about Brady, the one time I yelled at you. I've been coaching college basketball for 22 years, and there is not a more deserving player than I have had for an award like this. I miss coaching him, and I think about him a lot. I'm so happy for him and Kristen and their family, and I feel lucky to have been his college coach and be a part of his life. So I'm honored tonight to induct him into the Dakota Wesleyan Hall of Fame. So congratulations, Brady.
Thank you, Coach. Thanks, John. Real quick, I just wanted to just thank the Hall of Fame committee for giving me this opportunity to be up here today. Like Coach said, 11 years ago, this seemed like a really far away thing for me to be up here with this honor. What I'd like to do is start off I just want to thank some people that are a big part of my life, and obviously that starts with family. Over there I got my grandma and my grandpa. We lost him a couple years ago, but I know he's looking up from up top of the Manhattan probably watching this. But thanks for all the sacrifices you made to come and follow us. And they lived where they lived, they didn't have reception of the basketball games, so they'd have to get in at the gas station by the interstate, and they still would try to find a way to listen to Tim Smith and make sure that they were listening and just following as many games as they could. So thank you for that. I got my brothers, Derek and Tyler, over there. That's a big thanks. I mean, you guys, two of my best friends over there, and they've got the upper hand on me. Derek's got 2 state championships. Tyler's got 1 state championship, so they've got bragging rights on me. And I had to get married to get my ring, and you guys, you don't hold that against me, so I appreciate that. They've always had my back too, and one of the things with the basketball at the Corn Palace, they would always go to the soft seats, and that was usually where the opposing team, the fans, would sit, and they'd usually keep their coat on, and there'd always be the opposing fans that would be looking. And it never failed. It'd always be every couple games where they'd look at the program, they'd look at the stats, and they'd see, Preston Broughton 20-10, and they'd do the eye test, and like, okay, that makes sense. And then Chase Walder, okay, we got to guard him, and then it was Brady Wiebe. Yeah, we can stop him. And so what they would do is they would wait until usually we'd have a good stretch or a couple buckets, and then all of a sudden they'd whip their coat off at the same time and have the Wiebe shirt and start obnoxiously cheering for me, and either they would apologize or it would just be kind of a little bit back and forth there. But yeah, no, you guys have always been there for me, so I appreciate that. Then yeah, Marlene, I know you're here somewhere. Thank you for everything that you've done here. This is just incredible right now, and I apologize with just you needed stuff as far as like achievements and stuff from me, and I think I was probably a week late with it, and then I forgot one of my best achievements at Dakota Wesleyan, and that was April 15th, 2011. When I talked that gorgeous brunette in there and talked her into saying yes to me when I asked her to marry me. And so you've been such a big part from the very start of my life at Dakota Wesleyan. You're at Augustana, and you always made those commitments of sacrifices to come to as many games as you could, or when you weren't studying to become a nurse. And just, yeah, since we met, I mean, my life has just continued to get better, and that's not a coincidence, that's not dumb luck, it's you, and I can't appreciate enough what you do for us and the boys. And then moving forward to my parents, I mean, obviously you guys are such a big part of my life, and that's one cool thing about this award is I think when I was in these shoes, 6 years ago, I think I didn't do a good enough job of thanking you guys, because you were just such a big part of what these goals were. And like Coach Hemingway illustrated, it was, there wasn't a lot of margin of error for me. I mean, they realized that my goal was playing college basketball, and I needed to get as much out of my ability as possible. And it wasn't like the traditional household where, usually the dad was the real tough one. My mom was the one that played a lot of basketball in high school, and she was the one where after games I was just scared to get out of the locker room. And they said that I'm always the last one. Well, there was a reason for that. And my dad was always looking at the activity, the rebounds, the free throws, where you staying active, and I always got a kick out of it because my mom would be getting on me about things I need to work on. My dad would come in with the good things. Well, you got this many rebounds. Well, 5 of those 9 rebounds were off my own missed shots, so it wasn't really that impressive. But you guys, you set the bar so high as far as what I want to do with my kids, and I can't thank you enough for everything you've done, and you sacrifice so much for me and my brothers, and just means the world to me. And then going to just real quick, my teammates and my coach, Coach Hemingway, again, you gave me a shot when nobody else did. The reason I paused and I didn't answer, I was, to be honest with you, just shocked that you all gave me a scholarship, and you're right, the whole way home my dad told me to call him before he changes his mind. And yeah, I was desperate. I was in high school. I was getting VHS tapes. I was taping the games, and I was stealing my mom's Survivor VHS tape, the Survivor Days of Our Lives, and I'd be sending them out to coaches, and I'd never hear anything back. They were probably just watching that episode of Survivor instead. It's probably a little bit more interesting, but yeah, when Coach came and watched me at the Hanson Classic, we lost that game. I thought, well, that's it. I got to start looking for somebody else to give me an offer, and yeah, you gave me a shot when nobody else did, and this was my goal, was to play college basketball. So thank you for that. And then it just created so many other relationships with friends, and just so many memories that I can't. It just helped make me into the person I am today. And then the one thing too is he was really good at those backhanded compliments. He wanted to make sure that nobody's head got too big. And so yeah, it was my freshman year. I remember it vividly with you with the jumping over a beer can comment. I was working against a starting center, Ike Maneke, and he stopped practice because I'd gotten a couple rebounds, a couple easy baskets, And he was getting after Ike, and he's like, "You're letting Brady get rebounds over you, and he can't jump over a beer can." And so I was feeling good about myself, but then boom. So a couple weeks later, we won a big game, and we're celebrating with our teammates, and I, for some reason, thought it would be a good idea to text him that I not only jumped over 1, but 2 beer cans. And then I woke up that next morning realizing, oh my gosh, what did I do? And sure enough, I was scared to look at my phone. I picked it up, already had a text message from Coach Hemingway, and all it said was, "I bet they were both crushed." That's a good point, yeah. And then lastly, with my teammates, the thing that I'm most proud of is our success as a team, the 4 national tournaments, winning over 100 games over our 4-year stretch. And we had so much talent that there were times where I was probably the 4th or 5th best player on the team, and gave me a lot of opportunities because nobody was really focusing on me at times. We had 3 Player of the Years, GPAC Player of the Years. We had 8 All-Conference players, and most of them were repeats, and then 4 NAI All-Americans on our teams during that stretch. So yeah, they're terrific teammates, but they're even better friends, and I'm just very lucky I've got some of those teammates that took the time to be here today, and just to be able to call you my friends means even more than just all those years us playing together. So with that, again, thank you so much for this honor, and to the student body here, the seniors, guys, thanks for making me so proud to be a Tiger. I think my wife thought when I was done at Dakota Wesleyan that she was done, following Dakota Wesleyan sports, but we're always listening or watching on TV to you guys' games, and you guys have done so many wonderful things these last couple years especially. So congratulations. I wish you all the best here in the future, and go Tigers.
Congratulations, Brady, and thanks, Coach Hemingway. Once again, congratulations to our Hall of Fame class and all of our athletes honored here tonight. It was a great night. At this time, I'd like to have Amy Novak come back up here and give some closing remarks and lead us in the Scotchman.
Thanks, John, and just thanks again to all of you who've made the trip to be here to celebrate the honors tonight. And I want to begin just by saying a thank you to our senior athletes for huge efforts, tough losses, exciting wins, and a record year at Dakota Wesleyan. Like Brady described, his grandparents often sat near a gas station to make sure they could hear the outcomes of a particular team. And while we have better technology today, I can assure you that I cheer for you, we cheer for you, we collectively as a community cheered you on. Whether it was the track athlete, the basketball game, the softball girls that are playing tonight, and we hope they're pulling it out for a win of the GPAC tournament, the volleyball team, the national championship women's basketball team, the cheerleaders who just continually motivated us at all of the events. And then as a mom of 8 soccer players, I can't help but say I watched a heck of a lot of soccer, both of my own team and for young developing athletes, to see where you brought programs. It's been impressive. To wrestlers and to the ever-present athletic trainers who were always there curing the injury or working to prevent the next injury. To the football team for exciting seasons these past 4 years, record-setting seasons these past 4 years. Each of these senior athletes here tonight have demonstrated one thing. They've demonstrated a persistence to keep going, to be bigger than themselves, to recognize that it's about team, and to invest in a character that says we are here to give every bit of our effort to excellence. And for that, for all of you seniors, thank you. You have bled blue, and we hope you continue to bleed blue. It is also our delight tonight to honor the Hall of Fame inductees. Your stories have become our story. And your recognition in the Hall of Fame is our way of offering an inspiration to all those athletes who come after you. You serve, each of you, as a critical reminder to our current athletes and to future students here at Dakota Wesleyan to never give up, to strive for excellence, to remember that the team is always bigger than ourselves, and to leave a lasting legacy at DWU, because fundamentally, we're not a university of buildings. We're a university of people. And each of your contributions have shaped who we are. And to our seniors, are shaping what we become. So thank you. Thank you for committing to Wesleyan, for being part of our family, and for always bleeding blue. Go Tigers. So tonight, we're going to do the Scotchman. This is our alma mater. It's up on the screen. Now, I think we're the only university in the country who sings the first verse and hums the second verse. And to go along with our winning record, I want to share with you that I was recently at a president's conference where we had to get up and sing our alma mater. And I won, not because I have a great voice, but because we actually hum. And nobody could believe you would hum the second verse, right? Or the second time you sing this through. So I'm going to ask you to join me tonight. Please stand as we sing our alma mater. For those of you who might not be from here or don't know it, the words are on your program. And I need a lot of help. And so last year, Matt Wilbur helped me out, but I'm not going to ask him to do that again this year. But I'm going to rely on you helping me out from way back there, okay? Show me the Scotchman who doesn't love the thistle. Show me the Englishman who doesn't love the rose. Show me the true-hearted son of old Wesleyan who doesn't love the spot where the tumbleweed grows. Have a great evening. Go Tigers, and God's blessings.